And you might be thinking to yourself, Kirby and Andy, why do I need bar tools at all? Can't I just pour everything into a glass and enjoy it? Well, I guess you could. Hi, it's me, Kirby and Andy. Today's video is going to be the first in a series. Every Wednesday, I want to do a video about home bar essentials. Not just essential spirits, but also tools and techniques. Pretty much everything you need to know to make great home cocktails. And today is the first episode, and I want to dive right into tools. So right here in front of me, everything on this tray, this is all you need to make every cocktail. We have a jigger here, because you need to measure. Honestly, everyone should have a jigger if you're doing any home drinking. Even if you're just having vodka sodas, I think you'll find that you'll enjoy those vodka sodas a lot more if you know exactly the vodka to soda ratio that you enjoy. And that way you can do it the same every time. We have a Hawthorne Strainer to keep our ice out of our drink when necessary. We have a mixing tin. Often you'll see me use two of these, but a pint glass will actually work as the other half of your shaker, as well as work as your mixing glass. And then of course, we have a bar spoon, which we use this for measuring as well, but most importantly, we use it for stirring. It's a spoon, but it's also a special spoon, so you don't want to just use the one from your house. So, all of these items right here, you can find some version of each of these things for $1 or less, especially if you have a bar or restaurant supply store in your area that's open to the public. You can get a Hawthorne Strainer like this one for 99 cents. Or even this bar spoon is just as effective as this one is. And frankly, this jigger is probably going to be more effective than the $20 one you buy at Crate and Barrel. I would say two things that you might want to buy, splurge on. I do like having a fine strainer. Anything that's served up, this will have you able to strain the fine shards of ice out of it, or bits of pulp, any other sort of remaining items in your tin. Then I do also really like having a mixing glass at home. Uri mixer, years ago, they were the only version you could get, made of crystal, very fragile. It was a big deal because people would break them and they'd be in so much trouble at work. But now, thankfully, thanks to capitalism, you can get these pretty inexpensively and just about anywhere that you might find other bar tools. So if you want to spring for this, go for it, but by no means is it necessary. Other stuff, like there's different kinds of jiggers out there. You've probably seen me use this Japanese jigger. I prefer this Bell style jigger, so this is a bit of an upgrade, but again, not mandatory. You can buy all of this stuff in a kit ready to go, but I also find that those come with a lot of other stuff that you don't really need. Like I've literally been working in bars since I was 14 years old. I have never used a julep strainer for anything. I know a lot of people like to use it in their mixing glasses, but it's not incredibly practical in a volume scenario. And your Hawthorne Strainer is going to work just as well, if not, in my opinion, much better. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about how we use these things as well. When it comes to making cocktails, there's two grand categories of mixing. Cocktails are either shaken or they're stirred. Sure, there's subcategories, but overall, if something's going to be spirit-based, like a Manhattan, an old-fashioned, or a Negroni, things where there's no juice, those are all going to be stirred cocktails. You don't want to be introducing air. You just want to combine the ingredients, dilute them, and chill it, and send it on its way. Things that are going to be shaken are things that we want to make frothy, things that we do want to push air into, like a margarita, a Cosmo, a penicillin, things with thick syrups, basically anything with fruit, that becomes a shaken cocktail. Now, beyond that, you can roll a cocktail, you can swizzle, you can box, you can draw. There's lots of different ways to mix a cocktail, but pretty much anything can be accomplished through shaking or stirring. Now, in terms of how to do that, well, why don't we go ahead and show you. So starting with a stirred cocktail, I'm going to build it in my mixing glass. And also, for this whole series of videos, I am operating on the assumption that you already have lemons in your home. Sugar, you should have some form of sugar. I do recommend simple syrup for everything. Sugar cubes are really cute, but if you want something that's consistently accurate, the only way you're going to be able to get the same measurements every time is by making simple syrup, just a 1-to-1 ratio. And then of course, ice, and a knife. So those things, that's all you need. So for a stirred cocktail, let's go ahead and pretend we're making something for real. And we'll do a few dashes of bitters in our glass. And then I'm gonna go ahead and measure 2.5 ounces of spirit. And when we measure with our jigger, you wanna fill it all the way up. So 2 ounces is this whole container. You don't want any space. So just like that. So that's 2. And then I'm gonna flip it over to do a half and go right up to the second line, right between 1/4 ounce and 3/4 of an ounce. Pour that right in. And then lastly, we're gonna add some sugar here, essentially just making an elderflower liqueur old fashioned. Doesn't that sound delicious? We can throw that in there as well. And then we'll put ice in. See, you don't even need an ice scoop to make cocktails at home. You wanna fill this to about 3/4, and look, I'll even use a crappy spoon. And when you're stirring a cocktail, I see this a lot where people are jamming this in here and knocking the ice around. This should be quiet. It should be a silent process. You should be able to hear a pin drop while you're stirring a cocktail. You want to press the back of your spoon against the mixing glass and insert it down to the bottom. And then you're essentially just moving your ice through the cocktail. So you can see this is very calm, no air is being introduced to the drink, but those 3 elements are being combined and chilled as I move the ice through and the spoon around the outside of the glass. And there we have our elderflower old fashioned. Now, if we say we want to go ahead and introduce some citrus to our drink, then it's something that we want to shake. And you don't even actually need a juicer as one of your tools. I'm going to go ahead and hand squeeze this into my jigger right now. But you can extract juice from a lemon. You can just dig a fork right in here and get all the juice right out. Okay, so there's a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. We'll switch back to our pint glass. And because this has citrus in it now, we're gonna shake it. And the way I learned to shake a cocktail, one, is to do it one at a time. I know lots of bartenders like to do a double-handed shake, but most bartenders who do that are still gonna end up setting this down at the end while they strain out their other cocktail. If you can shake and strain 2 cocktails at a time, go for it. But I say don't put ice in here until you're ready to shake it and see it through to completion. And then you also have 2 hands on it just for safety. So just in case your seal breaks loose, your hand's on it so it's not gonna get messed up. And then think of it like a box. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's essentially what I'm doing every time I shake. And there's our shaken cocktail. So we can go ahead, we could strain it. But for our demonstration purposes today, I'm gonna use the same ice and I'm just gonna pour this right in. Because lastly, the other thing I wanted to talk about, if you're making something, like say this is a Tom Collins, you might wonder, why does this spoon look like this? This is actually for mixing. Yeah, you can swizzle a drink like this, but you can also pour your ingredients like a club soda right down the spoon. And it's gonna mix it right into your cocktail without overflowing. And there, now we have a perfectly mixed elderflower Collins. Again, doesn't that sound delicious? Make sure you're subscribed. Next week, we're gonna talk about cocktails, and spirits to buy for your back bar when setting up for your home bar essentials and some of the different cocktails you can make. Thanks for watching all of this. I'm sure I talked a lot. Let me know in the comments below if this was helpful or very boring. But give it to me. I can take criticism. Thanks again, and I'll see you Monday and Friday for new cocktail videos here on my channel. Bye!